Hello Massidians, and welcome back to an Opus 9 deck tech video from the Massidia Post. My name is Alex Scott and I'm going to be going through Mono Ice today. So I'll load the deck list up here in a second for you, and then we'll start talking about the deck. I think that in Opus 9 we got a lot of different tools for Mono Ice to use, and it's gotten a few things that it didn't have in the past. So I'm really enjoying playing the deck right now. It's a little bit more fluid than it was before. So before we can get into the game plan of the deck and some of the overall cards I put in there, I'm going to talk about 3 key cards that Opus 9 added that has made Mono Ice just even better than it was before. The first card we're going to talk about is Locke. So we're talking about the 4 CP Ice Backup Locke. He is incredible. I talked about him a lot in my draft video, but for the same reasons that he's going to be good and constructed. So you can play him early on, you can choose whatever card type you want, and that's what you're going to get. So if you pick backup, you're going to search for a backup. Once in a while you're going to get something like Jill in the Bat that you don't want to play right away, or you're going to get a second Locke, but for the most part you're going to be fixing your setup and setting up reliably, and that's something that Mono Ice hasn't always had. You had to play Setzer in the 6-pass package if you wanted to set up backups easily, and then otherwise you just had to draw backups. So that's a really big help. You can also search forwards if you're drawing a lot of backups, or if you just want to push your opponent. And you can also pick summon, and since we only run 2, you're guaranteed to get one of the 2 summons in the deck. And I've also put 1 monster in Aleidalai, because if I play Lock and Search Monster, I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get this 1 monster, which can be useful if I need a card that kind of can dodge removal like Shantoto, or if I just think that it's a matchup that his discard attack is going to be worth the investment of CP that I'm going to be putting in. So Laguna is similar to Ysael, the ice backup that searches an ice forward, except you're getting this on a forward, and not just any forward, you're getting this on a 5 CP 8k, which is relevant because a lot of the searchers that you see at 5 CP on a forward are going to be 7Ks. So this Laguna is going to be able to fight it out on the field at 8k power and 9k with Duke Larg, and that's very, very relevant. It's also relevant to have a search effect like this, and a versatile one, on a forward rather than a backup. You're going to be able to play more than 1 Laguna throughout the game, and you're going to be able to play it easily because you don't have a maximum amount of forwards that you can have on the field like you would with backups. And you're also just going to be able to use this effect to grab all the cards that you need right when you need them. If your opponent opens up with a Zidane, either wind or water, if they have a Viking and Layla, if they have any sort of small forward, you can search your Sid Reigns right when you need it, and then you've got them. You can also search for cards like Azure Dragon to continue setting up and getting value, and we even have a combo where you're going to search for the Opus 1 Squall, drop them on the board, make your opponent discard 2. Now you have to make sure that you're playing out your whole hand so that you're not wasting your CP, because it is a symmetrical discard effect and you'll have to discard as well. But this utility on a forward to be able to search any single ice forward in your deck is honestly insane, and I think this guy would have been fair at 7k. Okay, so the final key card that I'm going to talk about is the Azure Dragon Lassie Soryu, or as I will refer to her as the Azure Dragon. Now, this card is exactly what Ice needed. It's an EX Burst draw card, and yes, we also got Mind Flayer, but no, you're not going to run Mind Flayer. So Azure Dragon has this utility of being the EX Burst draw card, but then also this beater on the board that every time you swing in a pure Mono Ice build, you are drawing a card every single time. So if you swing once, you've already made this a 3 CP card, and if you swing again, well, then you're getting into ace territory, and if you swing again, well, now the card's free. So you can get a lot of value from this card. You're going to have to be careful against water for their Famfrits, wind for their Diaboluses, and you're also going to have to watch out for ice now with the 1 CP Zalira, and then of course any deck that runs Veritas. Luckily we do have a lot of Veritas targets in this deck, a lot of efficient smaller forwards that you can play out before you play this card, and we also have a lot of high cost forwards. So if we're playing Lagunas and we're playing like Orphans and Sephiroths and all sorts of other cards, your opponent's not going to have enough 5 CP removal for all of it. And if you're playing your Lagunas first and your opponent is a little hasty, then they might use up some of their Diabolos, etc. against your Laguna, and this guy is going to be able to jump in and start getting value. So let's talk about the game plan now. There's this is a pretty standard mono ice build, so you're going to see a lot of cards that you've already been seeing in mono ice. For example, your Sephiroth, your Orphan, Kuja, Sid Alstein, and your Blinking Renoa. We also have cards like Genesis and Sarah, Garland, Sid Reigns, all the cards that you're already used to seeing against mono ice. We do have a new card in Zalira, and we're running that as a 3 of currently, but I'd also want to try including the 4-cost Zalira at some point as well in my testing. For the actual game plan of this deck, you want to get Lockout as early as possible, set up your backups, and get efficient. As soon as you get to 3 backups, you want to play Laguna and search into your Azure Dragon. You can play your Azure Dragon and start getting more value, but you can also pivot if you need to search for other things. If you need to search for your Sephiroth because you can force some discard, or if you're going to search for Sid Reigns to finish something off, you have that option as well. But what happens with this deck is you have so much utility and so much ways to navigate the deck that you can basically pivot to different types of game styles. This deck can play a heavy discard if it needs to, but it can also play kind of a value-oriented tempo game where you force damage early with your efficient forwards like Laguna, and late game you can close out with Dull and Freezes, with dulling with the backup Snow, and any kind of effect like that. And that's it for me. That's as far as we'll go in terms of digging into mono ice. A lot of people already know how the deck works, as the shell is very similar to how it's been in the past, but I really just wanted to go over some of these new Opus 9 cards and how they might look in the list. If you have any suggestions for cards I could include, or if you have any questions about the deck itself, then feel free to comment below and we can chat about it. Until next time, thanks for watching the video, everybody. Please continue to support us by liking, commenting, and subscribing. You can also check out my articles at themysidiapost.com, and if you need any FFTCG products, then look no further than Cards of Ivalice. Finally, I'd like to thank FFDecks for making such an awesome site that I use every single day. Make sure you go and check out their Patreon, and we'll see you next time.